The Stirge is a creature that is a combination of a bat, a mosquito, and a bird all rolled into one. And this is what I'm going to be doing in today's video, is I'm going to be doing an artwork of a depiction of a Stirge and telling you a little bit about this creature. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a unique and lesser known monster in the world of Dungeons & Dragons, the Stirge. This creature can often be overlooked, but it has the potential to bring some excitement and some challenges into your games and campaigns. And in this video, we're going to try and create a memorable encounter and give you some awesome artwork to look at on the way. So the Stirge is a tiny or small creature that can be used in your campaigns and your games as an interesting, like, little shock tactic creature, as it can be used perfectly in caves, as it has superior vision in the darkness. It has a nice small profile, so it can be hard to be seen. But its big thing that the Stirge is known for is its blood draining ability, where it can stick its proboscis into a character and drain its life force. So a nice fun little attack and ability it has as a unique little creature that a lot of players probably aren't thinking about as they're traveling through a cave with something small coming about, as they're trying to look out for a big scary monster coming their way. So one interesting way you can use a little Stirge to just throw them off in their tactics as they're playing a game, as they're sort of traversing through a dungeon or a cave, something like that. So just before we get into me telling you about a way you can use a Stirge in an awesome encounter in your game, I want to talk about the picture that I'm drawing here, this painting that I'm doing of a Stirge. I wanted to show off the instance in where you might use a Stirge in the game, and I want to give that sort of visualization there of a member of a party, you know, a group of adventurers that is traveling through a cave and is being distracted by bats by looking up as the bats are making the noise, and it is unaware of the Stirge itself sticking its proboscis into the side of our hero here. And I thought that would be a fun, interesting visualization of how I wanted to depict this creature, as well as that too, in terms of inspiration for the Stirge itself. I have sort of combined a few pictures that I've seen online, including the ones that you've seen in the beginning. I didn't want to exactly copy the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Stirge exactly. I felt that was not what I wanted to do here. I wanted to take my own unique spin on a Stirge itself. So as I said in the beginning of the video, the Stirge is a combination of a sort of a bird, a bat, and a mosquito all rolled into one. So I went more with the mosquito bat element rather than the bird element, and giving it 4 bat-like wings and little mosquito feet, and like basically it's like the body of a mosquito essentially, and the wings of a bat. I thought that would look a little bit more interesting, and mixing it up rather, as sometimes it is depicted with big long wings where the feet can be connected with the wings themselves. I want to go with 4 little wings. Sometimes it's depicted with more or less wings or more or less feet, so I went with sort of something that felt a little bit right to me. And as you can see, I think it gives the effect of something looking really unique and interesting that you can use to describe a Stirge for when you're playing your Dungeons & Dragons game. And this is also going to lead into where I'm going to talk about using a Stirge in a unique sort of like combat scenario, maybe how I would describe using a Stirge in combat. So I wanted to give a visual depiction of the scene here, and that is basically what I'm doing in this video, is painting up the scene that I would sort of describe using a Stirge. So hopefully it's giving you something unique and fun to look at as I describe how I would use a Stirge. So the way I would use a Stirge when encountering one in a game is I would make it as a creature that hangs out with bats in caves, specifically that sort of live alongside them, in there with them. And since it already looks sort of like a bat, it can be very hard to differentiate from a regular bat to a Stirge here. And what I would do is I would make it so when adventurers are traveling through a cave or anything like that where bats are commonly found, I would have them encounter a bat swarm, and this can be used to, of course, move the creature around, sort of undetected in between it. And just every now and again, when these, because are mainly depicting the big bat swarm, maybe put them in a group of like, 30 to 100 bats even, and you would only encounter a handful of Stirges in that. So I would go maybe like per like swarm of bats you're using in an encounter, only adding in like 1 or 2 Stirges in there, that they hide alongside them, sort of like living off them in like a symbiotic sort of relationship, as the bats are the thing that the party is going to be mainly focusing on. I would have the Stirge come in as like a quiet flyer, like its wings are a lot less like hearable and like detectable in the swarm of bats, and have it just come in, and while the bats are attacking, that's when it puts its proboscis in and does its life draining ability to give it something interesting and unique. So you'll be all of a sudden wondering why these people are being having their life drained while they're attacking these swarm of bats, and then you can use that to give them like an investigation check or a perception check, something like that, to see that the Stirge is in amongst this bat swarm here. As well as that, if you wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, you could give them another ability other than their life draining ability, which I think is pretty fun, especially for low level parties. You could also maybe, instead of giving them the life drain ability, giving them the effect that they can put in a poison or a disease on the player characters as well, to just sort of vary it up just a little bit. As well as that too, I would also think something you could do with making them fly in and out is giving them like a disengage ability, where they can come in, attack with their proboscis, do that life draining attack, and swoop in there, and then they can pull out without provoking an attack of opportunity. Or maybe it's because they're inside the bat swarm itself, that they get the free action of being able to merge back into the bat swarm, and you have to investigate to see them again. I think that would be super fun. And because they'd be hiding in the bat swarm, it'd make for a fun encounter where they can constantly like swoop in and out of a bat swarm to hide in and out of, where you've got to keep trying to track this thing as it's moving around this big bat swarm, and it's just really frustrating the players. I think that can be a real fun, making them like a sort of like nuisance pain creature to take ahead of, so you're sitting there going, I just want to get this little thing, because this thing isn't known for having big hit points or anything like that. So you want to make it sort of fun and interesting by just making it just come in, do a quick jab, and then taking off again, and making that like the whole essence of the encounter. And because it's got this bat swarm around it that is constantly providing it like cover, there's another thing you could do while the bat swarm is around a group of people. It could also provide the Stirge with cover as well, so to give it like a boost to its AC, or like I was saying before, with it being way harder to detect in the bat swarm, it'd make it just this really annoying thing. That's why I would recommend probably only putting like 1 in a bat swarm for lower party members, so they're thinking about having the fun of trying to get this monster that its creature that is in this bat swarm, that is having to deal with the bat swarm itself, which is like a nice low level encounter which has its own stakes in as well, but you're constantly trying to focus on this little thing that is going in and out of this bat swarm, making it really hard to detect by having it merge in with that swarm and basically sort of like become invisible essentially to them. I think that would be super fun to just have it come in and out, just be real pain, and make it really fun by giving it those little things. So that's what I would do if giving Stirge an encounter in one of my games. So hopefully that is something that you can use to give you some ideas in your own games as well. And so there you have it. That is how I would use a Stirge in one of my D&D games as an encounter, whether it's in my campaign or a one-shot or something like that. So I hope that's giving you some interesting ideas for how you can use a simple little creature like that and just vary it up a little bit to add in some interesting little spice to it. I also hope this artwork has been interesting for you, and maybe giving you another depiction of a scene you could use in your Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I thought it was really fun to paint up a Stirge here. I really am trying to push my artwork that little bit more, so depicting little scenes like this and with monsters that I enjoy, giving me something out of my comfort zone to paint up and draw has been super fun. But one thing I think I can ask for you guys is, how do you guys use a Stirge in your games of Dungeons & Dragons, or any sort of role-playing game, Pathfinder as well? I would be really interested if you left down in the comments how you use Stirges in your games, if you've ever used one before, or watching this video here is giving you some inspiration to use one in a game. And if you definitely do use one, like how I have talked about how I would use a Stirge in a game too, let me know. It's really interesting and fun to hear how people play the Dungeons & Dragons games. I always love doing it, as I'm the big D&D fan, of course, so always love hearing stories from other people. So if you leave that down in the comments, that'd be really awesome and fun to hear how you guys have used Stirges in your game. And with all that said, guys, I hope this video has been helpful for you guys, whether you want to use Stirges in your own game, or you just enjoyed watching me paint up a artwork depicting the Stirge in it as well. It's always fun to know and hear from you guys. But like I said, with all that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.